Hello, everyone, and welcome to How to Succeed in Programming 1. Okay, as we stated many times now in a couple of previous videos, our goal here is to help you succeed. We want you to succeed. We want you to do well in this field. We want you to do well in these courses. We want you to get good jobs and do everything that meets your goals. However, to do that, you got to do your part. This is a career or I should say a field or a major that you got to do your part in. There's no way I can give you what you need and that's required to actually succeed in this by giving you a pill or having you just do minimal amount of work and so on. This type of work requires practice and tons of practice. And again, our curriculum is set up as a building curriculum. There's a lot of things that's going on in Programming 1 that actually affects classes you're not taking the second year. It all builds. All right, so there's a method for our madness in a lot of ways on how we did our curriculum, set up our curriculum, and set up our classes. Your goal or your job is to follow it. I think what we try to set up tries to take the stress out of it, but it also does require you to keep up with the work, do the work, follow what we actually have given you. If you do that, you will be successful. I promise you. It's when you get away from this and get away from and trying to take the easy road, and hopefully none of you will do that, that's when it all kind of falls apart. All right? Anyway, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a couple videos here walking through how to be successful. Not only in this course, we're going to focus on this course, but also in other courses you're going to be taking throughout the curriculum. Okay? So what we're going to do is walk through understanding the course structure, how our courses are set up. Then we're going to kind of dissect that structure a little bit and go through weekly instructions, planning your time, resources, lectures, assignments, and solutions, and kind of talk a little bit about how we do this. All right? So let's get started. So understanding the course structure, okay, we do try to set up many of our courses online, specifically online, that are very consistent. Even live classes have a consistency to them. We actually use many of our online classes for our live classes, meaning we follow that. We even provide some of the videos that we do for our online classes in our live classes. So there's a consistency based upon how you take the courses. Maybe you're going to take a few live classes and a few online classes. That's fine. There should be a consistency that you'll become very familiar with. I cannot promise you it's the same consistency that you would see in other courses you'll have to take for the curriculum, like English and math and humanities. I'm talking about our core courses, the IT courses, the CPDM courses, and the SET courses. There should be some consistency there. And I'm not saying there won't be a few things that are a little bit, I want to say abnormal, I'm going to say a little bit different, but for the most part, we're trying very hard to have them very consistent. Okay? But let's take a look at what a class kind of looks like. Let's see, I'm going to get out of here and get over here. I'm going to take us into IT 111. This is database IT 111. Some of you might be taking this as you go too. As you'll see under course content, okay, we'll have our syllabus. We'll always have our syllabus sitting here. There is a student starts here, but for the most part, we just dive right into the content. We have a course outline. The course outline, for the most part, is a suggestion. For the most part, 95% of the time, we adhere to the course outline. But there might be times based upon the class and based upon what's going on that we might need to alter that a little bit, maybe slow things down. I don't think we'll ever speed things up, but we may slow things down and have to catch up a little bit later. But nonetheless, this is the course outline that you will be going. Every course should have something like this. Okay. We may have some other things in here that your instructor will refer to or the videos will refer to at some point in time. Here's the software acquisition instructions, which we already kind of talked about. They're always in some of our preliminary courses to make sure you have that. Each week, now as you see here, I have week 1 on. This is the instructor's view of this. And then each week we will actually turn on the content for each week as we go through it. It's really up to the instructors on how they want to do this. Some people turn them all on. Some people turn them on once a week. As I'm Bob Niels, once again, if you have me, more than likely I turn it on once a week. If you have others, it's going to be really up to the instructors. We give some freedom to our instructors to allow them to teach how they want to teach. But primarily, maybe it might be however they want to do it. I've seen it both ways. All right. So when we get into each one of these, let's see, week one, I'm going to kind of go through and kind of show you one that's a little bit later, like week 3. What you'll find in each course, or each week, I should say, is the instructions. Now, these instructions are there for you to read, not to like, oh, there's instructions. I'm not going to look at it. Read them, okay? Get to know exactly what it is you're supposed to be learning or supposed to know at this point in time walking into that week. That's usually what's in the instructions. I usually give a little scenario about, okay, this is where you should be at now. Here's where we're going, and then this is what we're going to start covering next. The objectives. We talked about this before. These are what you should inventory. If you want to be successful, your goal is to sit back and note that these are objectives for this week, and this is what I need to meet. If at the end of the week you do not understand certain objectives, or you're still sitting back having a hard time, like in this case, understanding how to apply the primary key, let's just say you get to the end of the week and you're still very confused by that, that's okay. That's when you got to ask questions. Just don't sit there and hope for the best later on that you're going to get it sooner or later. Ask the questions, talk to your teacher, send an email to your teacher, whatever is necessary. But this is what you need to know by the end of the week. We give these to you so you can stay on course, so you have a decent idea on how well you're doing. I'm always being asked, how well am I doing? I don't know. Are you meeting the objectives? You may have struggled with some of your assignments. And if you did, that's perfectly fine. But that said, you still need to meet these objectives so you can move on. Once again, every course is a building course. Every week is a building week in this particular type of major. All right. Then we give instructions on how to go about meeting those objectives. It's usually a combination of listening, reading, and doing. Okay. You'll see resources down here. Again, follow these. If you're online, listening is the big part. If it's a live class, the more likely you're going to get lectured to, and you're not going to have to listen to the videos. But the videos could be there as a support means. Each week you may have resources. These are resources that we think complements what you're going to be learning. Once again, in lieu of a book, we use a lot of resources from the internet. Okay, look at them, read them, just go through them. What we usually try to do is try to find a couple of different, what do you want to say, a couple of different sites that say things the same way but a little differently to help you understand a little bit more. And that's what those will be there for. Each week we may have some examples from the class or examples from the videos. Anyway, you kind of look for those, make sure you find those. And there always will be a weekly lectures and a weekly activities, especially for weeks that do not include tests or projects or something like that, okay, basically with new content. The lectures will be sitting right here. All the lectures are sitting there. Most of them tell you how long they are, and so you can plan your time accordingly, okay? We'll talk about all of this a little bit more. Do you need to listen to all these? If you're in an online class, the answer is absolutely, positively yes. If you do not, I'm telling you, you will struggle, okay? Even if you think you know it. All right, let's see, let's get back here. And finally, the activities will be sitting there. Every instructor might tell you where what the due dates are. Based upon the instructor, they might put the due date here, or they might actually have it sitting there under your grading on when the due date actually is. Make sure you understand where the due dates are posted, and make sure you understand when they are, the times, and so on due dates. All right. You'll actually see in this scenario, I have the solutions posted. Based upon the instructor, they may or may not post solutions. Most do, and the solutions will be there once the assignment is complete, meaning once the due date happens. Once we're past the due date, I usually post the solutions. All right, makes sense? All right, let's get back to our video here. And our video, but our PowerPoint. And let's kind of walk through each of those in a little bit more detail. Once again, I'm probably going to repeat myself a little bit here. Each week, you'll be provided instructions, okay? The summary, what we're going to do and how to do it. Read them, understand them, and go from there, okay? Make sure you note everything you need to do. Make sure you note all the due dates and what has to happen, okay? If you're finding, again, the objectives in this particular case is the biggest part of this. That's what you need to be able to accomplish. And again, if you're going through and meeting objectives, and maybe your grades aren't what they need to be doing, but you're meeting the objectives, you're doing fine in the course. I trust me on that. Okay, you're doing fine on the course. Okay, that's what you need to be able to do. All right. Let's see. You're responsible for them. Either your instructors or not, you're responsible for making sure you're meeting the objectives. Okay, and if you do that, you're, like I said, you're going to be doing fine. I can't stress that enough. All right. There's going to be steps. Once again, based upon how you're taking the course, follow the steps and go from there. Okay. Planning your time. This is the key, okay? Based upon how you're taking the course, okay? If you're taking it live, you're going to be in front of a live teacher. Things are going to be a little bit different. You're going to have at times for your probably for some lab and so on. Okay, so the time is kind of set up for you. If you're taking this online asynchronous, you need to plan the time. I will tell you this, you need to make sure you're planning the time for 10 to 15 hours a week to do the work. There's going to be times it might be a little less than that, and there might be times it's a little bit more than that. So with that said, my recommendation for online classes is to make sure you go out and you see what you're going to be learning, what needs to happen, and start planning your time accordingly. Do not wait till the last day to do it all. I know everybody's busy out there, but I think doing a little bit throughout the week is a lot better than doing a lot at one point in time. People struggle when they do it that way. All right, spread it out the best you can, to the best of your ability. Listen to a video a night, whatever it is. Just make sure you get there. I would try to get assignments started prior to the weekend. This way you can ask questions. Do not assume your instructor is going to be available over the weekend. Instructors have lives too, okay? And so in most cases, instructors will basically tell you, if you send me an email on Friday, I may not answer it till Monday. And that's my case. If you send me an email on Friday, I do not promise any kind of response back until Monday. Weekends, for the most part, are off for all instructors. Now, with that all said, most of the time I do answer the emails if I have time. But with that said, I would not anticipate it. So it's a lot of better idea to try to get through the videos and get your assignments started prior to the weekend. Okay? There you go. Do not anticipate the instructor will be available on the weekend. All right? Note that, note that, note that. Every instructor will let you know what his or her hours will be and how they'll respond. But once again, I think, for the most part, most instructors will not be available on the weekend. Okay, resources, we talked about them. They're there for you to complement our videos, to complement our lectures, and to complement everything that we're talking about. Do you have to read them? I recognize you go out and look at them. Maybe not read it hard, but they're there as additional support. In this case, in lieu of the book. Okay. In some cases, a book or an ebook might be part of the resources. Lectures, you got to listen to them. We put these lectures together for a particular reason, and that reason is to teach you how to do this stuff the way we want you to learn how to do it. Okay. I'm not saying everything we do is 100% the way everybody else in the world wants to do it, but we have a method for our madness to get you through the curriculum. So if you go off and you think you already know how to do this, and this is how you learned it on the internet or you learned it in high school, I'm telling you, we will be different. Listen to the videos. If you get to a point in the video that I understand this, take the little, the little control thing and move it forward and skip over stuff if you have to. But nonetheless, listen to the videos, all of them. Assignments. We understand there may be times that you may not be able to finish an assignment. Missing one or two should not hurt you, but once you get to 3 or more, make sure you contact your instructor to discuss. Okay, assignments are there with the due dates. The goal is the assignments for most of our classes are all practice. This is your opportunity to take what we just taught you and practice it. Okay, assignments are for practice. Your instructors may give you good feedback. They may give you grades. And as I mentioned before, don't worry about the grades, worry about the feedback, and worry about the learning. All right, skipping assignments hurts you terribly in all our courses. Okay, but like I said, if you miss 1 or 2 because life happens, I got it. Don't panic. Just move on. Make sure you understand the material. Maybe you try the assignment on your own, but with that said, try to get them done and try to stay with us. Usually, based upon the instructor, there will be some type of solution or a solution video that follows through and talks about the assignment. I've had great success in basically sitting back saying, okay, now that you get your assignment done, I'm going to show you the solution, and here's a video that walks through the assignment and why we did it this way. With that said, listen to it. It's a big part of learning. If your solution is not exactly the same, learn from that assignment. Take what we give you in that assignment, then apply it to the next one. Does that make sense? That's part of the learning here, the constant learning. You may have done it a little bit differently. Maybe you did it and it didn't get to work. Once you look at the solution, if you sit back and you say, oh, okay, now I understand, apply it to the next assignment. Excuse me. If you get to the point in the solution, excuse me again. If you get to the point in the solution, you're sitting back going, I am clueless, then you need to talk to your instructor, okay? And say, I need some more help. That's when you do that, okay? So there's pieces there. You did your problem, you did your solution, we posted a solution, you looked at it, and it's 100% the exact same way we did it. You're good to go. 2, you got it to work, but you didn't do it exactly that way, or you got a little stuck, and now when you looked at the solution, you say, now I understand. Perfect. Take whatever you just learned and apply it. 3, you look at our solution, you're going, I'm clueless. I couldn't get it to work, I couldn't even get it started. Contact your instructor. Got it? All right. And that's pretty much what this says, all right? Based on what it's given, look at, listen, and read all. Learn from the feedback. Once again, don't worry about the grade and the assignment, but learn from your mistakes. Some instructors love to get a lot of feedback on each instructor. Everybody's a little different on how they instruct a course. If they give feedback, look at it, okay? Listen to it, or whatever it is, read it, and make sure you understand. And then use that feedback for the next assignment, okay? Don't fret about the feedback. Learn from it. Learn from it. I can't stress it enough. Worry about the learning, not the grades, and everything will take care of itself. All right? If you do all this up to this point, I promise you will succeed. All right? Yep, there's a part 2 to this video. We got a few more things to cover. Sorry, I want to get you started on the right track. I want to make sure you completely understand how to succeed in this course. So we'll see you in part 2.